My third day with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom began just as the previous ended, with more exploration, with more Koroks. By this point, I'm trying to fully exploit the building mechanics. It's just a little harder when I don't have a way to steer. At a nearby stable, I run into Link's new co-worker, Pen. He's heard rumors of a missing group of chefs, who apparently had one of Zelda's recipes, so Link wastes no time and jumps into a well, where I found Farah, a strange woman who wants to see every well in Hyrule, and pays for the info, meaning I'll be searching out every well in Hyrule. Following the directions left to me by those at the stable, I seem to stumble upon a group of people in tents, and oh look, a shiny thing. And look, another shiny thing. I got it the second time. Circling back, these guys all seem pretty sick. Wonder if it has anything to do with those missing chefs. Oh well, that'll be for another day. I continue on, barely making my way up to yet another shrine floating partially in the sky. Where it's further confirmed that, yeah, this game is cool. But that's enough aimless wandering for now. I finally set myself another goal. The big ring resting atop Kakariko seems like a good mark. Along the way, I fight a battle talus. This time, finally realizing what I'm supposed to do with the heart it drops. The nearby tower offers another fun twist. Door stuck. Luckily, the cave system just below offers a way to ascend through and, yep, it's a pretty big stick. Big stick make door stuck. Once airborne, I see yet another shiny, this time a whole island. Landing on it, I find a sage's will. I don't know what to do with these. And add more luminous stone to my collection. Also on this archipelago, a makeshift bridge allows access to a treasure map and a shrine puzzle where I finally figure out how to properly rotate. With my knowledge of Ultra Hand nearly complete, I descend towards Kakariko. There I find yet another shrine where I conclude, yeah, this game rocks. I chant gotcha pun, gotcha pun, gotcha pun. In front of this researcher, Corey, who is shocked at this device's true purpose. And run into Dorian. He was Impa's former guardian, now he's Paya's guardian, and is only a little upset with her recent obsession. But he's happy to see Link has returned. Speaking of, Paya is also happy to see Link again, wink wink, and introduces him to the Sky Rings, her latest obsession. These fell just after the upheaval, but shortly after Zelda arrived and forbade any from entering this particular ruin. A strange order, for sure, but one that Paya is following to the letter. While in Kakariko, I talk to many of the inhabitants. Dai is not one of them, but the innkeeper is missing, so he's running the inn until Link can find him. Across the road, I meet Trissa, who's having inventory problems. The two men who usually stalk her shop are trying to clear out one of the ring ruins, which has apparently been infested by enemies, and they have been at it for quite some time now. Seeing a Sundelian, I try to get to it. It doesn't go well. Jumping into the local well, I find a larger cavern than usual, and a trail of apples that leads to an underground farm, and a recipe book. A woman has detailed recipes for her husband, the guardian for Lady Impa, and her children. The woman is gone, the notebook in tatters, but her recipes live on. Leaving the cave, I'm presented with a single silent princess. And also a dragon! Racing towards it, I'm confident I'll get its scale. Never mind. Well, at least I found another Korok and... oops. He's fine. While flying around, I accidentally push the boundaries of the Forbidden Ring ruin, and this dork makes me stop. Then I find one of Dorian's daughters selling a ring garland, so of course I buy one. I don't know what to do with it. While aimlessly running in circles, I run into Bagut, a fellow adventurer who simply wants to know more about the rings, specifically what's written on the tablets found within them. I found a few already too, which was nice. Speaking of these tablets, look who's made a bed of one of them. It's the innkeeper. With the power of mushrooms, I resuscitate the sleeping man, forcing him to get back to work, and getting Link access to the tablet. Upon another ruin, I find a host of enemies. I take them out without a hitch. As it turns out, those are the enemies that the store stalkers were trying to rout. They were standing there for days, arguing about whether or not to utilize a strong offense or a strong defense. I had forgotten about them completely. They were impressed with Link's balance of the two concepts. Back in the village proper, it was time to turn in some quests. Bagut is emboldened with the tablet's knowledge, Dai is happy to be able to leave the inn, and Trissa's got more inventory again. Satisfied with my work in Kakariko, I descend to the depths once again. Unfortunately, I still haven't fully grasped the controls. Other characters had told me that I should be throwing Bright Bloom seeds, but I couldn't figure out how. Instead, I could only drop one and hit it with a sword, or attach it to an arrow and send it flying. Neither the best solution, but they worked. For a time. My entire visit continued largely the same. I would pick somewhere and I would go to it. When available, I'd try building a flying machine. They worked more or less. I'd find a Yiga clan outpost and clear it out. I learned from the Yiga that steering devices are incredibly useful. I also learned my battery was very, very small. I even found the dragon again. I was able to finally get that scale I so rightfully deserved. I stumbled upon an old abandoned flux construct, quickly decided it wasn't worth it. I found another Yiga post. I made another failed flying machine. While I didn't know what it was used for, I did know mining out all this zoonite would be beneficial in the long run, so I would always clear out the numerous mines in the depths. But really, my time in the depths was finding the softly glowing orange spots in the distance and heading towards them, until I eventually ran out of arrows and teleported away. Where in the depths I was as low as I could possibly go on the surface, I did the opposite and shot towards the sky. I found a Korok on this one island, then decided there was nothing left on it and went to the next, only to realize the crystal for the shrine was back on the first island that I had just come from. But on the way back with the crystal, I learned a couple more things. One, these big green canisters might be useful. Turns out they're external batteries. And two, oh wow, the recall thing actually works. But I haven't yet learned how to disconnect things, so turning in the crystal is shoving the entire contraption up against the shrine. After heading back down to the surface, I found a stable with a really fascinating well. This one had a well, and inside of it was a well, and inside of that was yet another well, yo dog, and it had a bunch of fairies inside of it, which is really cool. Atop the stable is our best co-worker, Pen, who's heard yet another Zelda rumor. Apparently the Yiga clan has captured her. Oh no! But before I reunite with the princess, I have to help this Korok. And this Korok is special, because it marks the exactly one frame where I get the 69th Korok seed. Nice! I feel like I really messed this one up, but at least we can see the number in post. Afterwards, I climbed upon the nearby mountain to find Zelda. Obviously real Zelda trapped within a cage. Ah shoot, she's just a Yiga clan member. Link handles them with ease. Pen shows up just in time to have missed all the action, and he doesn't believe the Yiga were after Link in the first place. Anyway, soar along! With that, I head in another direction, this time heading towards the beautiful swamps and forests of East Necluda. With the help of a kind Bloopy, I found a really cool challenge, a puzzle that implied I needed to throw a spear into a far-off circle. Unfortunately, I'm only rewarded with a Raru's blessing. Then I found a goddess statue who had a quest for the swordsman. Something was wrong with the mother goddess statue in the canyon, so I'll be going there at some point. I also found yet another cool cave, this one with an ancient laser puzzle. Now this one in particular is notable for me. It was the first time I found something in this game that I had seen someone else post on the internet beforehand. So while I did know the solution ahead of time, it was still fun. And then a roadblock. I walk into a shrine. The puzzle seems obvious at first. I have to attach the thing to that and then hit it. Then a cart rolls down, and I need to have attached the thing the other way to push that up the tracks. I don't know how. I can't use Ultra Hand. I can't swing the hammer that way. I even try walking along the rails. I try blowing the plate off to try and realign it. No dice. And then I finally seed. I look up on the internet how to disconnect objects in Tears of the Kingdom. Apparently, you have to shake the controller. I swear the game only actually communicates this once, if that. I couldn't find that line again. It's honestly really frustrating. I love so much about this game, but tutorialization continues to be its biggest weakness. But at this point, I now have fully mastered the construction mechanics in this game. So let's decompress for a bit and appreciate the lovely animation that plays when Link gives a donation to the Satori under the Sakura tree. From here I jump down and instantly get a horse, and take it on quite the adventure. And there is truly nothing quite like riding your newfound equine friend along the beach at sunset. This game is so beautiful. I only stopped to help my other best friend Addison, and also talk to this cute adventurer, Mina. She gives all the hot goss, and eventually tells Link of her plan to retire and chill out at Laurelin Village. Well, she would if it hadn't been invaded by pirates. Anyway, I found a nearby stable and named my new friend the only reasonable name for a rideable buddy, Yoshi. This being the first time I actually spoke to one of the stable hands. I then realized I have all the horses that I got when I played Breath of the Wild, including Dirk, Germ, Dermy, Yersher, who was also named after Yoshi, and Epona. I got a big laugh out of remembering the dumb names I gave these beauties. How could I ever forget Dirk, or Germ, or Dermy? This elderly stable hand, Shay, brings attention to this rare species, the Dondons, across the ravine. Apparently very few exist. These are the only ones found in Hyrule. I don't go over there. Instead, I try to get fancy with Addison's sign. It didn't go well. Leaving the stable, I backtracked to a Korok I rode by earlier, but this time I built a boat to make the process quicker. And I tell you what, if riding a horse along the beach was nice, riding a boat along the shallow shores is quite the calming experience also. Anyway, that's enough of that. Look at this stone! And hey, that's the fun heart-shaped lake for the first game. I'm fine. I'm fine. Finally, I run into Bolson, the carpenter who most recently built Tarrytown, and Rozel, the Laurelin town leader. It turns out the rumor are true. Laurelin has been invaded by pirates, all the buildings destroyed. I won't have any of it. Creeping slowly up to the first bokoblin, I then do realize that these are black. Link is not strong enough to be taking on enemies this tough, unless you've got the skills to back it up. And it takes a lot. These guys hit hard. I used cheap tricks to take out the boss bokoblin on the boat. I had to eat so much. I had to use so many items and arrows, but I take them all out. Wait, I take most of them out. There's still one somewhere. The jerk was sleeping in the well, and Laurelin is saved, but completely destroyed. So naturally Link offers to help rebuild, and this entails going up the hill a ways, chopping down a bunch of trees, and carrying the logs back down the hill. I find a good boy along the way. But why do so many of the trees have to be the bad ends? Many logs later, now I need to find rice to build the roofs, but there's not much rice to be found in the grasses in Necluda, which calls into question how the locals built the roofs in the first place. You'd think the local buildings would be using local materials, but that's beside the point, because now I need to go find rice. and I believe I'll find more up in Hitano, so I've got my next destination. And hey, it's Mina again. Word travels fast, she's already heard the pirates have been routed, but also knows the buildings are still worse for wear. I also ran into Sebasto, Kiana, and their children. Laurelin locals who fled are now living on the lam, no home, no place to go. Their newly opened restaurant is still in cinders. They've set up shop next to a tower, with brambles that have blocked the entrance. I would shoot a fire arrow at it, but it's raining and... But again, this game is so cool because you could just build a bridge and put the bridge over it, and it blocks the rain. The Sky Island presents another challenge. A Flux Construct 3 is defending the crystal. I want that crystal, but this is way above my weight class. But then, I remember my fight with the pirates. I've become emboldened. It may have taken every single one of my fairies. I may have eaten even more of my food, but it's going well. And using my third to last arrow, I do it! And immediately after waste my penultimate arrow, but I did it! Only to get a Raru's blessing. On a nearby island, I see another Flux Construct 3, so I turned around and flew away, and that is going to be where this diary log will conclude. A wild, haphazard sequence of events has led me to the outskirts of Hitano, and I had so much fun getting there. Looking for a shiny thing in the distance and letting that take over any and all of my current goals was so much fun. And there's still so many more things to be distracted by. If you've ever gotten distracted from the main quest in a game, let me know. And if you enjoyed this, maybe tell me, either by leaving a rating on the video or commenting, or you can also subscribe to be notified of all the videos that I put out. Or if you'd like to read my thoughts elsewhere on the internet, you can follow me where I'm at Mario8 everywhere. Links to them are all in the description. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, but before I go, let's see one more death montage.